Good afternoon and welcome to coverage of this FA Cup fourth qualifying round tie live from the new Manor Ground in Ilkeston. This town in Derbyshire with Derby to the west and Nottingham to the east, pretty much slap bang in the middle of them. And this afternoon, it's arguably the biggest game in the reformed Ilkeston Town Football Club's short history as they play host to Hartlepool United with a place in the first round of the FA Cup up for grabs for them. No doubt about the fact that they are big underdogs this afternoon, but we have seen plenty of upsets in this famous competition already. Hartlepool arrive having just been knocked off top spot in the National League. They do have a game in hand though and are 2 points adrift of the summit. And as I mentioned, plenty of drama and thrills and spills already, as we saw in the last tie we brought you live between Dulwich Hamlet and Christchurch FC.
That's a challenge that's really angered the Christchurch players, and it's a straight red card, and one of their most experienced players with a rush of blood to the head that could prove costly. That's a wonderful free kick and it's in, and that might just be the winning goal for Dulwich Hamlet, who have taken advantage, the 10 men, of the set piece and surely are booking their place in the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup.
So it's a decent delivery into the box and just manages to poke the ball back across goal. But you've got to feel for Christchurch.
Blake, the substitute. Good delivery. Equaliser. Has just circumscribed in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. The goal might be near Christchurch level.
What a fantastic header this was. It's a good delivery into the box, and what a header that is.
2 penalty saves apiece for the goalkeepers. A chance for Max Wilcox to level, and he too has been denied by the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's on top in this penalty shootout. So this, Sanchez Ming, who scored the decisive penalty in the last round, has the opportunity tonight. And Sanchez Ming scores. Uncertainty, but it is the decisive penalty kick. Sanchez Ming is the hero again from the spot kicks for Dulwich Hamlet. Even his own teammates didn't realise the significance of that moment, but his composure from 12 yards has once again proved to be the crucial moment in an FA Cup tie for Dulwich Hamlet.
So a penalty shootout in that tie to decide it. Just a reminder, no extra time in the FA Cup this season. Straight to penalties if it ends all square after the 90 minutes. Alongside me for the 90 minutes and perhaps more is Leon Osman, and Leon, Ilkeston are a club that are certainly on the up, and it might not be easy for Hartlepool today.
Well, no, that's the idea, and you're right, they've newly reformed club on the up already, trying to attempt to get into the first round proper. And coming up against an informed Hartlepool side. So, you know, I really love these occasions. FA Cup, you know, there's a certain magic in the air, fans back in the stadium, and an occasion that I'm certainly looking forward to.
Okay, more from Leon throughout the afternoon, but as he mentioned, there are fans in attendance at the new Manor Ground, 400 socially distanced supporters, and how good it is to have a bit of an atmosphere on a Saturday afternoon inside a stadium. And speaking of being inside the ground, let's head across now to Kelly Summers, who can give us a flavour of the atmosphere there. Kelly.
Yes, good afternoon, Mark. Good afternoon, Leon, and everyone watching at home. What a prospect we have here in terms of a game. Ilkeston, as you said, reformed just 3 years ago, and 3 is really the magic number for them because they've already won 3 games so far in this competition, conceding just 1 goal. So it's no wonder that everyone I've spoken to around here today is saying we have nothing to fear. I spoke to their chairman, Mark Clifford, earlier for Football Focus, and he said this is a just reward for everything that he and his owners, the fellow owners, of course, as well, have put into this football club over the past few years. The ground looks resplendent, a wonderful clock tower in the corner as well. They've spent hundreds of thousands of pounds to redevelop this and get them back up the footballing pyramid. For Hartlepool, well, as you said, it's been a brilliant start to the season for them. They haven't played in a little while due to a few positive COVID tests. Their game against Barnet was postponed, but as you can hear, the atmosphere here is brilliant. The tannoy, they welcomed us and said it was a lovely day here in Ilkeston. I'm not too sure about that. The rain is lashing down at the moment. It is blustery as well, but whatever happens, there's going to be a real game in prospects. And another thing, Mark, I heard you mention the fact that we're in between Nottingham and Derby. Well, of course, Nottingham and Derby. Can you remember a very famous man, Brian Clough? He actually started his managerial career at Hartlepool. Yes, we're all very much looking forward to it here. It's nice to have to shout a little bit as well, so that you can hear me above all of the fans.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks very much, Kelly. Yes, you mentioned Brian Clough, and of course, with Nottingham Forest and Derby County being either side of Ilkeston Town, he is a man inextricably linked with those two, and he did manage the club that was then known as Hartlepool United between 1965 and 67, before going on to achieve those famous successes at Derby County and Nottingham Forest, with John McGovern playing a key part in them. And McGovern played for Hartlepool as well as having managed Ilkeston as well in the past. So plenty of subplots for you. We'll get more across as the game goes on. Let's have a look at the team news, though, and a big boost for Martin Carruthers, as both Billy Bennett and Kieran Fenton have passed fitness tests and start. They are joined in the back line by a centre-half by the name of Maguire, and Joe is indeed brother of Harry. Much shuffled pack from Dave Challoner for this one from their league game against Bromley. Amongst the alterations, 17-year-old striker Joe Gray comes in. Tom Crawford makes his first start since joining in the summer, and in return for the experienced Gary Liddell, who's recovered from a groin injury. So those are the 2 lineups. It is an interesting fact that there's a shuffling of the pack. There is Joe Maguire, and if you didn't know, would you guess, Leon, that he's related just by the facial?
I think you would. I think he certainly has that strong Maguire chin bone that they both seem to have, so I'm sure he'll be looking to put in a performance like his brother is able to do. Yeah,
actually, I was at St James's Park for Match of the Day last weekend when Harry Maguire popped up with that thumping header to make it 1-1. See what his brother's like from set pieces this afternoon. So it will be the visitors, Hartlepool, in the yellow strip to get the game underway. There is Nicky Featherstone, who is a very experienced campaigner. Dave Richardson is the man in the middle, and we await his whistle before this FA Cup 4th qualifying round tie gets underway. So here we go then, arguably the biggest match in the short history of the reformed Ilkeston Town Football Club, as they play host to Hartlepool United, who last weekend were sitting top of the National League. And Ilkeston Town, who have only been in their current incarnation for around about 3 years, trying to reach the FA Cup first round proper for the first time in that very brief history of theirs. Picked up by Marzo. Very nice stadium, the new Manor Ground, can hold around 3,400 supporters in attendance this afternoon, socially distanced, and tickets sold out in double quick time. And you can understand why people want to get a taste of football in the flesh, and even more so when your club have a chance of pulling off an FA Cup upset.
Absolutely, it's hottest ticket in Ilkeston at the moment, and you know what an atmosphere it's already building to. You know, to be involved, to be here at the stadium with the noise. It just it's how football should be, and you know, let's hope the game is up there to match it.
Run in centre field then by Holohan. Here's Marzo. Goodson. Hartlepool have not gone out before the first round proper in the FA Cup since the early 1920s. 3 levels in the football pyramid between these two, with Ilkeston Town in the Northern Premier League Division 1 South East, and Hartlepool United flying high in the early stages of this National League campaign. They will still have been top of the tree had their game against Barnet last weekend not been postponed due to some positive COVID tests amongst the Barnet squad. That game will have to be rearranged. You might be able to see there that the rain is absolutely bucketing down, and just what you want in an FA Cup early round tie.
It's got all the makings of a really good tie. It's got all the makings of a cup upset. You know, you need the weather to be howling, the rain always makes a difference, and then you need to have your attitude to be spot on. And at the moment, the game hasn't quite settled down, but you know, you can feel the tension within both sets of players. Neither have really took the opportunity to get the foot on the ball yet.
Dave Challoner, the Hartlepool United boss, said that this would be something different for them. And you can see Martin Carruthers, the main man at Ilkeston Town. Spoke to him on the phone last night, and he was full of excitement for this one. He said that the fact that Hartlepool might make a number of changes from their last league game would be motivation for his players to think that they might just be taking this game a bit lightly. Here is Lewis Cass on loan from Newcastle, and Molyneux on the move. He's going to have a go. First shot in anger, and not a shot that Ross Durant needed to be concerned about.
No, it wasn't, but it was good play by Hartlepool. Moved the ball pretty well from back to front, and ended up with Molyneux find himself in a lovely pocket. And I just felt he was probably looking to get the shot away a couple of yards earlier. The ball just rolled away from him. Was unable to keep control of his finish, but good play.
Molyneux, 22 years of age, starting his first match of the season today. He joined back in January 2018 on loan from Sunderland. There are plenty of players in this Hartlepool side who have early year experience at Premier League clubs, and there's the chance, and wide it goes from Mason Bloomfield. Bit of a surprise starter this afternoon, Mason Bloomfield, and that was a presentable chance for him.
It was, but it was a terrific tackle by Fenton. Just felt that the ball had opened up. Good play initially by Crawford, winning the ball and releasing Gray on that left-hand side, and he timed his pass to perfection. You just felt after that good first touch, Bloomfield was going to be able to get his shot away on target, but the last-ditch all-action tackle by Fenton was perfectly timed.
As I mentioned, Martin Carruthers was very pleased to see that Kieran Fenton and Billy Bennett both came through late fitness tests to be able to feature today. He was already without a couple of players that would have been in the starting lineup today had they managed to shake off various niggles. Watson, one of those who's missing. James Reed, number 11, keep an eye out for him as well. Although keep an eye out for Hartlepool at the moment, who have the lead. Beautiful finish. And Molyneux, who passed up that earlier chance, has tucked this one away. And what a goal that was as well.
It was. It started the game so well. Molyneux already 2 occasions drifting in off this right-hand side, and it was an absolutely terrific finish But Gray heavily involved again, timed his pass wonderfully yet again. That slashing crossfield run by Molyneux. Great first touch. You see, great first touch. Defender goes to ground, thinks he's going to finish, and then when you're asking for composure, you're asking, can you finish? He has all the composure in the world, dinks it over the goalkeeper. 1-0 Hartlepool.
Well, he can play on either wing, Molyneux, but is also comfortable in a more central position as well, and he showed just how comfortable he was there with that delicate finish to give Hartlepool the early lead. It's only the second goal that Ilkeston have conceded in the FA Cup so far this season, but it has been a strong start from the National League side.
It has. They've had the better of the chances. They've worked the ball well through the midfield on a couple of occasions.
Well, a long throw into the box from Ilkeston. I'm sure that Dave Challoner would appreciate that, given that he was fairly handy at propelling balls from distance when they were in his hands as well. That's a handy ball in, though, from James Reed. Picked up by Bloomfield. Clever pass again. And they've got two in the centre to aim for, and it's another. Joe Gray on target. What a moment for the 17-year-old, and Hartlepool running away with this early on.
They are in the original goal. First goal of the game was all about finding pockets and play, and this was terrific counter-attack play. Bloomfield, when he picks the ball up, perfect pass out to the left-hand side. Ferguson, and when you think, can he put it in the perfect position for your striker to go finish? He certainly does. Some terrific back-to-front action. Marauding run down that left-hand side for Ferguson. Leaves it in the perfect area. Gray's coming off that left-hand side and finishes with aplomb.
2 appearances from the bench so far this season for the 17-year-old Gray. Starting today and making the most of it early on as well. Dave Challoner said that he was delighted to see Joe Gray sign on for a longer period, with a number of clubs interested in the youngster. Everyone excited to see what he can do and offer to the squad, and he's shown that inside the opening minutes this afternoon. And the big question now for Ilkeston is how do they go about trying to get themselves back in the game without leaving themselves exposed defensively, and they could be in further trouble here. Crawford, Durrant got fully behind it.
Well, the first thing they need to do is try and thwart these attacks from Hartlepool, because at the moment they're not able to get close to any ball in possession. They're not able to make a tackle. So before they figure out how to get back in the game, they need to make sure that they start competing in the game.
Bloomfield offside. Brief respite for Ilkeston Town after they got off to the worst possible start.
A good thing for Ilkeston is we're only 9 minutes into the game. There's plenty of time left to figure out how to score the 2 and maybe more goals to keep them in the FA Cup. But it's been a terrific start by Hartlepool. They really have taken control of this game.
They're on the receiving end of a 4-1 defeat against Newcastle Town in the week. Martin Carruthers said that they just wrote that off as one bad day at the office, and they would go again this afternoon. Obviously a higher calibre of opponent for them today, but it's been a bit of a slack start from them, although they do have a free kick here.
Yeah, cheap, needless free kick. Found yourself 2-0 up, you're dominating the opposition, you give away a cheap free kick, you really do give them an opportunity to get back in the match. And
one thing that Martin Carruthers said to me ahead of training is that they've been working on some set-piece routines in training to try and catch Hartlepool out. So I wonder if we might see something here that they've been working specially on. Not to give it the big sell and then it disappoint. Well, curse of the commentator there as it breaks down, and that might allow Hartlepool the opportunity to break forwards themselves. And just look how many yellow shirts are marauding forwards here. Gray just went too early, and that's a waste for Hartlepool.
It's a waste for Hartlepool, but it's another warning for Ilkeston Town. Going forward in that manner. You see the way Hartlepool, the pace and power they have on the counter-attack. A sloppy play to find yourself offside in that situation, but a real avenue of attack for Hartlepool.
Well, excitement for those supporters that managed to get tickets. It sold out pretty quickly, the 400 that were up for grabs, but it's been a disappointing start as it's only home supporters allowed inside the ground, as Hartlepool classed as an elite club, and elite clubs not allowed their supporters inside even if they are playing away to a non-elite club such as Ilkeston Town.
It's the kind of game you want to be wrapped up warm at the back of those seating areas. You don't really want to be stood pitch side with the way the rain's coming down at the moment.
Martin Carruthers said it's all about trying to get the ball out wide for Ilkeston when they get the opportunity, because he's got a couple of players who have got wands of right and left feet by his accounts, but they've not found themselves in many, if any, crossing positions out wide thus far. Here's Lewis Cass, 20-year-old, signed on loan from Newcastle United earlier this month, and making good ground here. Molyneux, one goal in the bank already for him. Cass. Molyneux just taken off him by Nicky Featherstone, and they'll be looking to exert some authority in centre field here. Johnson's pass. Clipped through by Molyneux, but to nobody in yellow. Joe Wilson's clearance will come back to Ross Durant.
It was better from Ilkeston. Became a lot more compact defensively, trying to make sure there were no easy spaces for Hartlepool to play the ball around it. It's Graham Molyneux who started the game the best for Hartlepool, picking up great positions, great pockets of space in behind that Ilkeston midfield. So these are the spaces they're going to have to try and stop.
Dave Challoner said that his players were raring to go, having not played for 10 days due to that game against Barnet in the National League being postponed. Means they have been replaced at the summit of the National League. They're 2 points off the top now with a game in hand after 3 wins and a draw. Molyneux. Crawford. Nicky Featherstone. Little. Holohan. Featherstone. Bloomfield. Ilkeston chasing shadows somewhat at the moment, but they will get the ball back here.
Yeah, they were, but it's better yet again. You know, both sets of teams will be pleased with that spell. Hartlepool keeping good possession of the ball, moving it quickly, looking really comfortable. But Ilkeston, yes, they didn't have possession, but they were a lot more difficult to play the ball through. They've cut them pockets of space. They're allowing Hartlepool to play in front of them, and that's the first step to try and get back into a game. You stop the opposition, then the next 5 or 10 minutes you figure out how to get closer and how to make tackles.
Said that they changed their routine slightly today, Martin Carruthers, arriving around 12 o'clock rather than usual 1:30 to just settle into the surroundings and also go through those set-piece routines. Here's Bloomfield meanwhile. Flag is up, although Ross Durant wasn't to know that as he made the block.
It was a good run yet again from Bloomfield. Just strayed a yard or two offside. Fenton had his arm up pretty early, quite comfortable in allowing Bloomfield to make that run off his shoulder. They've been a real threat, Hartlepool, that man in particular.
Kieran Fenton there. And should be easy on the eye, considering that he is a former model. Sort of career that you could have taken.
I'm surprised I don't know him then.
Hacked away by Maguire. one thing that Ilkeston have racked up is goals in the FA Cup. So they'll be confident that they have the firepower to get themselves back into this tie. Problem for them is that Hartlepool have looked pretty handy with the majority of their attacks. Bloomfield, no flag this time. Just ran away from Jack Thomas. Maguire. Here's Marzo. Had his pocket picked, taken off him by Tom Crawford. Nicky Featherstone. Little. They're just allowing Featherstone time on the ball, and he'll pick the pass accordingly. Bloomfield.
They are, but for the first 10 minutes it was very easy for Hartlepool to pick out Gray and Molyneux in those pockets of space in between midfield as they tried to close down. At the moment they're finding that a lot more difficult.
Martin Carruthers said they were disappointed by the nature of the goals they conceded against Newcastle Town in the week. Normally tough to score against. Breached twice early on by Hartlepool United this afternoon, who have asserted their authority early on. Johnson. Here's Holohan. It's a handy pass, but in the end, just too much on it for David Ferguson.
Just overhit. He'll be very pleased with the opening 18-20 minutes of this game. Pleased with how his team have started, pleased with how they are in possession, and certainly pleased with how they finished their chances.
Said it was something different for them as well, with fans obviously being allowed in today and it only being home supporters, so it might be something of a hostile environment for his players to get accustomed to, but he was relishing that particular opportunity. And here's an opportunity now as well. Oh, well, he went for glory and Ollie Brownhill couldn't quite pull it off.
Well, he couldn't. It was an audacious effort from distance. Made a great run in behind, and it was a terrific pass that played him in from Trug. He just felt that he felt the pressure was coming. He didn't feel he'd be able to run away from Cass in that situation, and decided to try and take the shot on early. Maybe just half a yard behind him, which meant added an extra 3 or 4 yards to his power.
Former England under-18 international with the clearest sight of goal for the home side. But you could hear the crowd just starting to make their voice felt a bit more when they came away. And here they come once again. Brownhill. Billy Bennett. Brownhill again. And it's easy for Henrik Ravas, the goalkeeper who's come into the side this afternoon. Slovakian on loan from Derby County for the season. His first start for Hartlepool this afternoon, and so far a quiet day at the office for the 23-year-old. Crawford. Cass. Martin Carruthers told me that they are a side that generally like to press Ilkeston Town, but might have to sit a bit deeper given the quality of Hartlepool United, and they're certainly sitting pretty deep so far.
Well, they've had to, the way the game went. As I said, they tried to press in the opening 5 or 10 minutes, and Hartlepool just found the pocket of space in behind them. They're working a lot harder now, getting behind the ball, shuffling in, but that will lead to more of a counter-attack style of attack when they eventually get the ball.
Crawford, intelligent pass, and Cass got there. Dangerous, and Ilkeston survived. You feel that a third goal would leave them with too much to do. Free kick goes the way of the home side, much to the consternation of Gavan Holohan.
That's to say that was sort of influenced by the home crowd. That was great to see back in the game. Well, that was a bit harsh on Hartlepool, if I'm being completely honest, but seen a terrific bit of defending, I think, by Fenton yet again as that cross came in from Cass. As you said, very important that they don't let the advantage become even bigger than it is.
Long from Ravas. And too long for Gray to keep in. Reed was trying to release that. Goodson. Throw taken from the wrong place by Reed. Wilson's throw. Goodson looking for the give and go, but Troke just ran into traffic. Hartlepool quickly forwards on the counter. Bloomfield, there's no flag. Mason Bloomfield's cross, dangerous, surely in. Well, he didn't know too much about it, but Tom Crawford has made it 3-0, and we've only played half of the first 45 minutes.
Oh, and it's a counter-attack yet again. It's the undoing of Ilkeston. Terrific power and pace they show yet again. Crawford heavily involved. Holohan, Bloomfield manages to bend his run and stay onside on this occasion. And then again, can you deliver? Can you pick out a teammate? Puts it in a perfect position. Crawford seems surprised when it eventually comes to his feet, whether he thought the defender was going to deal with it. Either way, Crawford's on the score sheet.
21-year-old making his first start since joining over the summer. Has his goal. He actually joined after his contract with another National League side expired at the end of last season. He was with Notts County, not too far away from Ilkeston actually. Unused substitute in County's National League playoff final defeat to Harrogate Town in August. Well, credit to the home fans, still making a noise despite a wretched start to the game in terms of the scoreline. It's a decent knock actually from Marzo, and the effort is not a long way over the top.
It was a really good effort. Much better by Ilkeston. Kept possession of the ball, moved it across the field, moved it from side to side. And the ball does eventually fall. The feet of, I think it's Reed, who eventually gets the shot away. It's not far away. That's what we need to see more of. They need to be braver in possession. Ask real questions of Hartlepool. They're already 3-0 down.
Well, they could be in trouble here. Holohan on the move. Last-ditch defending to prevent the Irishman adding another for the visitors.
It's Fenton yet again. Despite his team being 3-0 down, he's already made 3 last-ditch challenges.
Well, you can see why the manager was so keen to get him back into the side today, as Bloomfield is found, and another last-ditch challenge. This time comes in from Ollie Brownhill.
Yeah, they really are against the ropes at the moment. In danger of letting this game really get away from them.
Another short one. And not one that comes off. Goodson manages to offload. Reed had made his way through the centre. Thomas loses out, and Hartlepool have it back.
Didn't have many options there, did he? Thomas, as he went down the right-hand side, 170-yard pass maybe, but the speed that Hartlepool players got back was fantastic.
Maguire lets it run. I wonder if he had any words of advice from his brother coming into this one.
Well, I certainly expect that they will have spoken. At the least, you know, to wish him all the best, but well, there can certainly have been a level of advice on how to go about preparing for big games. And played in a World Cup final, semi-final. His brother will know an awful lot about preparing for big games.
Yeah. Breaks for Marzo, who's wriggled it on. And the flag has gone up belatedly against Zach Goodson.
The assistant clearly signing that he was off and then came back into an onside position. It's been very comfortable, this game so far for Hartlepool, both in and out of possession. Again, no real pressure on the ball.
Bloomfield able to spin it wide. 5 in the area to aim for. Featherstone forwards. Bloomfield crashed it goalwards, but crashed it into the stands.
He did, but he's had a pretty impressive first 28 minutes of this game, both with unselfish runs and now trying to show that he can be selfish as well. It's not too far away from finding the back of the goal. It's been a terrific finish.
Came through the Dagenham and Redbridge Academy, Mason Bloomfield, and made a League Two appearance for them when he was only 17. Now, Ilkeston on the attack! Side netting.
Yeah, unfortunate that. And Goodson does like to drift in off that right-hand side onto his left foot. Fenton with a terrific pass and a great first touch. Tried to go back across the goalkeeper to the front post, maybe. In hindsight, far post would have been a better finish, but good effort.
Well, they've had a couple of sights of goal, the home side. And the Robins still chirping despite the scoreline. That's another handy pass. Goodson onto it again. Good feet. And the hit was charged down. A couple of hopeful appeals more than anything for hands from the home fans rather than the home players. And this is where they are so dangerous. Molyneux, and still, oh, so close. And offside for a minute. I thought the whistle was going to signal a goal.
Well, I think it deserved a goal. Fantastic play yet again. Great ability on the counter-attack this Hartlepool team possess. As Molyneux cuts inside onto that left foot of his. Just expected to see the net ripple, but saved by the crossbar.
Half an hour played then, and it is the National League side who are in charge of this one. Dave Challoner looking to replicate their run last season in this competition, made it all the way to the third round where they were beaten 4-1 away at Oxford United. Looking forward to today as the different challenge of being the big club and the favourites coming into this tie. And they've been more than up to the challenge. Given away in a dangerous area. Maguire, the guilty party, and they're going to be made to pay for it. They nearly were. Goal kick after the effort was spooned wide by Gavin Holohan.
Oh, they should have been made to pay for it. Fenton getting caught in possession of the ball, unable to get back. In the end, it was Holohan's effort was deflected off his own teammate Bloomfield.
He's actually played in the Europa League before Gavin Holohan in the qualifying stages for Cork City. Should be easy enough for Cass to deal with. Not sure that's what Ryan Johnson was intending. And Molyneux so close with that effort.
He's had a very impressive first half an hour. Penalised for that tackle there, but in possession of the ball, certainly he's been a big influence on this game. It's a foul. I don't think there's anything more than that. I think the referee got that one right. But an opportunity for Ilkeston. Good delivery. Can you put it in the right area? Give one of your teammates an opportunity to really go and find a way of getting your team back into the game.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see one of these set-piece routines that Martin Brothers told me they've been working on. What's Reid got up his sleeve here? And it's catching practice for Ravas.
You definitely give them the commentator's curse on that one.
Featherstone. Not quite for Joe Gray. Johnson. Wilson. Smacked away by Maguire. Here's Goodson, who's probably been the best outlet for the hosts so far. And it breaks down, and concerned groans amongst the home fans as soon as it does. Well, the fans enjoyed that, even though they knew the flag was up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was clearly offside. Good tackle. Maguire on the halfway line. Stopped the counter-attack. One end and nearly played in his teammate. And yeah, go and finish. That might be the moment that gets your crowd excited, raises the atmosphere, and could be a turning point in the game.
Hartlepool protecting that proud record of not having gone out before the first round of the FA Cup since the 1923-24 season.
I think when you've been a Football League team for 96 of those years, I think it is, that it's a record you'd expect.
Here is Johnson. They wanted handball against Molyneux, and they get it.
As I said, you see Molyneux drift in from this right-hand side so often in this first period. Both himself and Gray aren't restricted to playing in wide areas. They drift all the way over on the field, and here's that earlier chance that hit the crossbar. Once he gets into that position, he just goes for pure power. Just unfortunately for him, probably a little bit too much.
Well, given his ability and form, many expected him to be out of Hartlepool's reach during the summer, so the news of him signing a permanent deal following his release from Sunderland was met with huge positivity by Hartlepool United supporters, and we've seen a fair amount of exactly why they were so pleased to tie him down after he initially joined on loan from Sunderland. Thomas. Good day at the office so far for Dave Challoner.
Sat next to my old teammate, Joe Parkinson.
I knew there'd be a Leon link somewhere along the line. I was just waiting for it to pop up.
I think we only played, I'm not sure we actually played together, but we spent a lot of time at the injury table together, me and Joe.
Here's Cass now. Rebound is worked out for Hartlepool United. Here's Crawford. Crawford again. That's a good ball. And was there a shove in there? No real appeal. Bloomfield almost made it 4.
He did, and he did so well to get that header on target. He was backing off. He was going to struggle to jump off the ground. And yes, you're right, that may have been a penalty kick in the middle of the field. Wilson possibly committing a foul, but the ball came back across Bloomfield. He manoeuvred his feet and managed to get that header on target. It was very impressive and took an important block by Maguire on the line.
Big team talk coming up then for Mark Carruthers at the break. They looking to bounce back from a 4-1 defeat in midweek, and they're trailing by a 3-goal margin with 37 minutes gone here this afternoon.
I mean, the first thing he'll be kind of stressed out there on the field is no worse than 3.
Now then, is this an opportunity for Troke? It's Alex Troke. Goes for it! Oh, off the post!
It's so unfortunate. Big moments in games. It's a mistake by Little initially, and suddenly Troke's away. Johnson does fantastic to get himself in between himself and the goal. Makes that Troke has to go for goal. He has to get a shot away. He can't beat him for pace. Gets his head down and gets good power behind it. Unfortunate to see it come back off the upright.
Well, he's playing up top tonight. He is listed in the matchday programme as a central midfielder by trade. Joined Ilkeston from Bedworth United at the start of this season. And while they are trailing by 3-0, they've certainly had their chances, and the scoreline could be a lot closer. That said, Hartlepool United have had a fair few other opportunities as well.
They have. Hartlepool have been a better side. They have looked 3 divisions above when they've manoeuvred it in these positions, but this is football. This is the FA Cup, and if you can still create chances, as Ilkeston have done, the game could potentially still be there second half.
Now then, Holohan. Cass. Oh, off the line. Was there a hand in there? On the ropes, Ilkeston there, but now with a chance to come forward themselves. Goodson. Nice give and go, but interception from Ryan Johnson. It's been a good watch. Molyneux, oh, and Bloomfield's in! And hits the post, but the flag is up. All happening there.
Certainly was. Initially good defending by Reid, then he gives the ball away in a bad position. And a tackle again, so Bloomfield really should have been onside. It was a tackle from the defender that took the ball into his path. Once he's there, regardless of whether the referee blows the whistle, he's got to score.
I think he'll probably be glad that it was flagged as offside.
He will, but it shouldn't have been flagged for offside, but got to finish.
So 5 minutes to go until the break in this FA Cup 4th qualifying round tie, where the 48 sides from League 1 and League 2 enter the FA Cup at the first round stage. The draw for that is on Monday. Cass's delivery, and they've hit the frame of the goal again. This time it's Featherstone up there.
Well, creating chances at will now, Hartlepool. Shown real quality and possession all this first half. Yet again, Molyneux heavily involved. It's a terrific ball in by Cass. Do they have players in there? Yes, they do. He should score. He really should score. He knows. You see the look on his face. See him coming back into position now, and he knows he should score that. That should be 4-0 for his side.
Scored in the FA Cup second round against Exeter last season. Nicky Featherstone, who's become a real fixture in the side under Dave Challoner. Now then, is there going to be A change between the posts needed for Ilkeston Town.
Seems in quite a bit of trouble, Durant. Don't know if it was, he landed funny after he made the save, but was trying to jump.
Richard Stainsby is the substitute keeper. Just, yeah, you can see there the knee jarred as he landed.
Painful one. You come down, your knee's not in a great position. Always painful.
Nothing that the magic spray can't sort out.
Well, you hope so. I mean, it does seem to have a bit more magic the lower down the leagues you go, that spray, I've got to be honest.
Well, Ross Durant is up, but their side aren't. 3-0 down.
Well, it's not the first half they were after watching, but I don't think they can help but be impressed by this Hartlepool team. They really have come out of the blocks. It's up to them to make sure that there's not an upset here today, and they played like they're really keen to get away with the victory.
Well, they could have crumbled after going 3 down so quickly, but they've made a good fist of it. They've rode their luck at times, but they've had their moments at the other end as well. Durant struggling there as he cleared that one upfield.
Oh, you've just hurt your knee like that. I'm not sure you want to kick the ball straight away.
Well, good pressure, and Ferguson forced to shuffle it out.
It's been lively, Goodson. And that crossfield pass all the way over to him has worked. For Ilkeston, he's looked lively when he's got the ball. His first touch has been good, and more often than not, there's been end product. So Carruthers will be mentioned in the second half. Let's get him the ball as much as we can.
Described as a young but prolific striker, Zach Goodson. And again, playing in that position, playing out wide today. Here he is again. And it's a free kick, Ilkeston's way. Ferguson begs to differ with the decision.
He's not happy, but it was the assistant referee who gave the decision. Referee there, you see about to run away until he sees the flag. I have to admit, the assistant referee was the closest to the decision.
So then, what they would give for a goal here,
Don't say it, Mark, don't say it.
Just to inject something into this tie as half-time approaches. It's a better delivery, it's off the post again! My, oh my. They've hit both of the uprights now, inches away from giving themselves a real boost just before the break.
They've been terrific timing to get a goal, to get back into the tie, but as soon as you don't mention the set pieces, we start to see great delivery, and it was well worked. They got their player, I couldn't quite see who it was, who ended up with the headed chance, but they're very unfortunate.
Holohan now though for Hartlepool, and Durant kept his eye on it.
The keeper will be pleased with that. Just after suffering an injury, you want your next action in the game to be positive. Took that one really well.
Oof, that was almost a bit short. Durant got there. Featherstone's in there. Oh, and the slip nearly allowed Brownhill in. Ravas. Ryan Johnson. Little. Cleared by Ravas. Joe Wilson. Well, into first half stoppage time.
It's been a good first half. As I said, Ilkeston were very slow out of the blocks, and Hartlepool really did take advantage, moved the ball really well, created chances, looked a team 3 divisions above, but as I said, Ilkeston they've hung in there. They've tried to make sure it stayed at 3, a little bit of fortune at times. Last 5 or 10 minutes though, they've started to create a chance or two, and I think Carruthers will be pointing that out at half-time, that at 3-0 this game isn't over.
This was the one that came back off the post.
Very unfortunate. Stroke who gets across.
That's twice he's at the post now.
I'll be hoping it's third time lucky for himself.
Something for them to take into the interval, but they have created some chances and have showed real fighting spirit not to let their heads drop. Can't afford to concede another now, though, with half-time just seconds away, and they will have to survive a corner if Hartlepool are quick enough to take it.
Fenton yet again. Played really well despite his team being 3-0 down, made some great last-ditch challenges.
They've gone for the short one. Featherstone. Gray. Handy ball in, met well though by Bennett, and that is the end of a first 45 minutes where Hartlepool United have shown their class, especially that man, Luke Molyneux. They blew Ilkeston Town away early on and have a commanding 3-0 lead at the interval.
Yeah, you can't really argue with the scoreline. Hartlepool dominated that first half for most of it. Created chances, played some terrific football. At times Ilkeston really were hanging on in there, but they have grown into the game last 5 or 10 minutes. They have started to play a little bit more in Hartlepool's half. They have created a few chances of their own, hitting the woodwork twice. So Martin Carruthers will try and be positive in that dressing room at half-time, make them aware that this game is not over, and hopefully we'll see them try and fight back in the second half.
So half-time here then, and plenty more coming back for you across BBC Sport over the weekend. We can take a look at it for you now. The women's Six Nations, Ireland against Italy, is available on the red button for you at 6:20. Mentioned one Maguire, another Maguire may be on show later. Harry, as Match of the Day takes place at 10:20. Join Gary and the gang at 20 past 10 on BBC One for that. That's followed by the NFL show, which is from 11:25. Tomorrow, 10 past 2, women's Six Nations action again. It's Scotland against France, that one on the red button. And on Tuesday on the red button, women's Euro 2021 qualifying, with Wales facing up to Norway. Well, it's the early stages of the men's FA Cup that we're bringing you this afternoon. It's the women's FA Cup final, though, on the horizon very shortly. Everton against Manchester City, which is coming up for you on Sunday, the 1st of November, here on the BBC.
And it'll be the players of Manchester City or Everton who will lift that trophy.
To Wembley for the FA Cup final. Everton versus Manchester City. Live next Sunday at 2:05 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
The unsung hero, ever present, no matter what. Organising, coaching, helping, all for the love of sport. Every community needs them, this year more than most. And this is your chance to say thank you with the BBC Unsung Hero Award. We're also recognising those under 16 who have made a difference with the Captain Tom Young Unsung Hero Award. To nominate, go to bbc.co.uk/unsung hero. Entries close at 1 minute to midnight on the 25th of October.
The Six Nations is back, and it's going down to the final game.
Six Nations bursts into life.
Super Saturday starts with Wales versus Scotland, and then the decider, France versus Ireland, live next Saturday at 1:45 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
So 3-0 to Hartlepool United here at the new Manor Ground, and it's a tough ask for the home side to try and get themselves back into this one. But those supporters, I think, Leon, will not just be pleased to see some live football in front of them, but also be very happy with the spirit shown by their side, who on another day could have had 2 goals had Alex Troke just been a couple of inches either side with his efforts that hit the upright.
Yeah, they're certainly not out of the game yet. As you said, those fans will have come hoping, not expecting for their side to put a good performance in and hopefully make a game of it, maybe even progress to the first round proper, but they'll be enjoying being back inside a football ground. They'll be really proud that their side have got so close to this level. You remember they've not long reformed in their current form, so yeah, it'll be an enjoyable day out, despite the weather, despite the scoreline. You know, it's been a really good game of football. Hartlepool have been terrific, really have. Molyneux and Gray coming in off the sides. Bloomfield's look a real threat. So there have been some really good performances out there by both sets of players, and I've really enjoyed watching that first half.
Dave Challoner said that he was going to shake up the side today in terms of the lineup compared to the side that played in the last National League game against Bromley, and it was an opportunity for those coming in to put some pressure on the starters in the league matches, and those that have come in have certainly taken advantage.
Well, the most pleasing thing for Dave Challoner is you wouldn't know who'd come in. You know, you're looking at that side thinking this is his strongest team, this is everybody playing, they're playing together regularly, they are all performing in the manner he is expecting every week. So it's always the pleasing thing when a manager makes changes. You want it to be flawless, you want it to seem like you haven't altered the team in any way. So, you know, he'll be in there telling them how well they've done at half-time, but when you go into these games as the favourite, as a team travelling to a lower league team and you're expected to win, you have to start the game in which they did. You have to have the attitude about the game, which they did. You have to take your chances so that you're not giving the opposition any real hope, which they did. So he'll be a very pleased manager in that dressing room at half-time, and he'll be imploring them to make sure that they try and deliver the same performance in the second half.
Looking at their recruitment as well, I mentioned that quite a few of the players have joined from higher up the food chain. Sunderland, Newcastle, obviously local clubs too, Hartlepool United, and they've done their recruitment work well in terms of picking some young talents like Molyneux, who's 22 years of age, Cass, who's only 20, he's on loan from Newcastle, joined earlier this month, and they've got a Northern Ireland under-21 international in the shape of Ryan Johnson at the back, so they do their due diligence, don't they?
Yeah, and it's not just that, you know, there are young players, young up-and-coming players, there are going out on loan or having just been released by teams in higher divisions that are looking to play first-team football and looking to develop. So it's one thing to scout them, as you said. It's one thing to have a good network, to know what kind of players you want, to know what quality players are out there for you. But it's another thing to sell your club, to sell your ambition for what you're trying to achieve as a club. And you know, that'll be the pleasing thing for the Ilkeston owners and for the Hartlepool owners and the management teams, that they're able to do that. They're able to show that their club has ambition, that they're trying to achieve something. And you know, players will always be able to see that, buy into that, want to be a part of that.
Just to mark your card, the FA Cup first round draw is taking place on Monday at 7 o'clock. The first round ties played across the weekend of Saturday the 7th of November. It's when the 48 sides from League One and League Two enter the competition, and of course you'll be able to see the draw on Monday live on the BBC. 32 non-league sides, having progressed through qualifying, will join those league sides in the draw. It'll be live on BBC Two, the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website from 7 o'clock on Monday. So plenty of supporters will be looking forward to that, and at the moment it looks very likely that Hartlepool United's fans will be the ones making sure they know which number ball their club are for that particular one. Ilkeston Town, I saw in the programme notes though, Mark Clifford, the club's chairman and owner, was saying that while today would be a big occasion for the club, especially with it being shown live on the BBC, that promotion is still their aim as they look to climb up the football pyramid, and you know, it is a club that is certainly upwardly mobile in terms of the investment. You look at the ground that they've got here. They've made some investment in terms of women's sides and under 23s as well. So today is their time in the limelight, but it's not the end of the story for them.
No, well, we hope it's the beginning of the story again. You know, as you said, they're trying to progress. They've had a couple of promotions in a couple of seasons since they were reborn as Ilkeston Town FC. They are a club on the up and up, a club that is trying to invest money, and a club that is trying to become a much better and bigger version of itself. So you have to take your hat off to the ambition. You have to take your hat off to the way in which Mark Clifford is going about doing that.
Well, the conditions not exactly favourable for players or those supporters who have braved the weather. I guess that's one thing people don't necessarily miss about going to see football, when you're in an uncovered area of a ground and you need a brolly, or else you're going to end up being absolutely drenched.
Yeah, but you know, talking about the weather and also about the club's ambition, this pitch has looked terrific despite all the poor weather we've had this week, despite all the rain that we're continuing to have here today. The pitches look fantastic. So you know, they've put a lot of money into this kind of thing, and let's hope that these conditions just leave off a little bit as we go into the second half.
Yeah, Mark Clifford said that it's been one heck of a year since he bought the club in October 2019. Since taking over, they've transformed the new Manor Ground's general appearance. They've invested in the squad. They feel it's one that's capable of challenging for promotion in their division. And although the cup run is excellent for the profile of the club and for the general good feeling for the supporters, they do have to keep focused on the main prize, which is winning promotion. And in normal circumstances, they would have welcomed in excess of 2,000 supporters into the new Manor Ground this afternoon, which would have been an amazing atmosphere when you think about the energy generated by the 400 that have been allowed inside this afternoon. And while the club in its previous and various lifetimes has, of course, sampled this level of competition, many supporters will really be relishing this. And for a flavour of that from inside the stadium, let's see if we can cross over to our reporter on the ground, Kelly Summers, who is at least keeping dry.
Good afternoon, Mark. Yes, I am. Fortunately, we are very lucky. We have a gazebo to keep out of the rain, but some of the fans behind us, as you can see, getting particularly wet. I'm delighted to say, though, we are now joined by someone also sheltering from the rain, the chairman, owner, Mark Clifford. Mark, not the first half you will have wanted. What are your thoughts on what you saw out there?
I think it was a disastrous start for us. 5 minutes in, and conceded the first goal. You know, I think the prep was, you know, stay in the game as long as possible and try and snatch one, like I said before when we spoke. But you know, I think we've settled down now, and we seem to be kind of getting into a little bit of a rhythm and a bit more luck, and we may have got a goal back in the game. You are sitting around the other side, I imagine, with other people from the club. There were so many chances that you did have, particularly towards the end of that half as well. You must have all been like, what more do we have to do to score here? Yeah, I think, you know, some days they go in, some days they don't. I mean, credit to Hartlepool, you know, they're getting forward so quick and in numbers, and that's difficult for some of our lads to comprehend and deal with, but a big learning curve for them. And if we get a goal early in the second half, who knows what can happen. There's some fans in the shot there. I think everyone is still enjoying their day. Sorry if there's any interesting signals going on. Very quickly, what are you expecting from the second half? What will the manager have said at half-time? I think he'd have said, look, lads, you know, poor start. We've got to start well in the second half. Don't concede early. Give yourselves a chance, get yourself a goal and see where it takes us. And I've just been saying on Final Score about how you can take inspiration from what West Ham did last week against Spurs, can't you? Oh, this has got 4-3 Ilkeston written all over it, hasn't it? Well, that was what we would like. Plenty of goals. Well, thank you so much for your time. You've spoken to us on Football Focus as well. There is still lots of optimism around here, Mark, but yeah, it's a little bit wet. Yeah, you make sure you keep yourself dry, and me and Leon will have our fingers crossed that we do get a 4-3. Yeah, I'm laughing because we both just snuck a biscuit in there, didn't we? I think well, caught me out there a little bit, but yeah, that's the idea. We want to see a really good game. We want to see Ilkeston have a right good go in the second half. Obviously, from Hartlepool's point of view, they have to be as professional as they were in the first half. But
that man will hope his team talk really does change this game around.
I saw a potential alteration going through a warm-up there for Hartlepool United in Timi Odysina, and I think he is actually coming on, the number 5 there. Was widely expected in the local media to be starting the game, the 20-year-old centre-half who's impressed in the last couple of matches. Have a confirmation of who he's coming on for as soon as we can. So Ilkeston Town will get this second half underway, trailing by 3-0 against Hartlepool United. It would be one of the all-time early FA Cup round classics if they could take this to a penalty shootout. Remember that no extra time or replays, it's settled on the day. Another goal would almost surely settle it for Hartlepool. Joe Gray, who's already got one, trying to set up another here. And it needed dealing with from on the line. Almost a fast start to the second half after Hartlepool blew Ilkeston away early on in the first period. Cass. The deflection.
Hartlepool have started the second half exactly how they started the first half, on the front foot, pushing Ilkeston back into their own penalty area, trying to create chances, and was one of those who was heavily involved in the first half. Great, who's twisting and turning, really did have Wilson on the back foot. For an important block on the line by Bennett, it could have been a terrible start to the second half for that man's team.
Troke. Shalner there said that he's got fond memories of Ilkeston in his first full season as manager of his previous club. Their first game was away to Ilkeston, where they got a 1-1 draw, and Kevin Wilson, who he's still friends with, was the manager at the time alongside Steve Chettle, and over the last few years they've produced many players that have progressed in the EFL and the Premier League, progressing to the next round of the FA Cup. Surely for Hartlepool here if this goes in. It's another good last-ditch challenge, and this time it's Zach Goodson back there.
Could be tackle of the day. What a terrific bit of defending that was. And again, Hartlepool Hartlepool finding themselves in behind this Ilkeston defence. A terrific tackle that was by Wilson.
Ryan Johnson was the man replaced during that half-time change that has seen Timi Odysina come on. And Bloomfield, radar not quite working. Well, he'll be disappointed not to have got a couple of his opportunities on target.
You could see his actions after he struck that one over the crossbar. Disappointed with himself. He's in some really good positions. He's running the line really well to get in behind this Ilkeston defence, but he's just being a bit slashy with his finishing, and he's just swiping across, going for power rather than real guile and precision.
Well, the fans still certainly doing their bit. I know we say it time and time again, but even just having 400 supporters makes such a difference.
It's great, isn't it? You can feel, I mean, it's one-sided. You like to see both sets of fans in a stadium, but even one set of fans gives a great atmosphere, really feels a part of what makes this game special.
Now then, no flag against Goodson. Is this the moment for Ilkeston? Goodson, well, he tried to come inside and couldn't beat the challenge, although he's got it back again now. Goodson. James Reed. In from Wilson. Too much on it for anyone in red and white.
Could have been a real opportunity, that one. So Goodson felt released, didn't feel like he could go onto his right foot, was always looking to come back in onto his left foot, but it was well defended.
Brownhill making inroads, and then the effort from Jack Thomas is gathered by Henrik Ravas.
And it's good play by Ilkeston. You can feel how much the crowd want to get involved, trying to will their team on, really trying to be that 12th man out there today. I'd love to see a goal, to see their team on the score sheet.
Crawford loses out. And there's a foul in there, surely. Oh, the referee's not interested. Goodson's interested in the ball, though. Looking for the give and go. Goodson's away here. On his own for now. Zach Goodson! Fumbled, but to no cost in the end.
He's disappointed. He knows that was a potential moment for his side, and they've had a good bit of joy down this right-hand side all afternoon. First half and into this second half. He does come back onto his left foot as he tried moments before, but unfortunately it finishes straight down the middle, right at the goalkeeper, who actually ends up making a comfortable save.
Well, conditions making it tricky, both in terms of the play and for the supporters and for our broadcast at times. Apologies if you've suffered any slight loss in quality of pictures. There is Odusina all the way back to his keeper. Odusina, who, as I mentioned, has really impressed in the last couple of games, was on loan at Hartlepool last season, now with them on a full-time basis after he was released by Norwich over the summer, who he'd been with since the age of 14. Brownhill snapping at the heels of Cass. Ravas clears. That's a cheap foul, if even it was a foul.
He just seemed to lose his balance, didn't he, as he brought the ball onto his chest. The referee saw it differently.
Little upfield. Back in the team today after a groin injury. Ferguson, not quite. Wilson. And again. Goodson. Clipped by Crawford. It's a good knock. Ollie Brownhill. Gets it in. Gathered by Ravas.
He's having to work a lot harder in the first 7 minutes of this second half already, Ravas. A couple of crosses coming into the penalty area, a lot more awareness he's having to be at, and that's down to Ilkeston. They're on the front foot, they're trying to create chances. You've seen then the quick free kick, they're trying to put this Hartlepool team on the back foot.
Here come Hartlepool again. Holohan. Still Holohan. Almost managed to weave his way all the way through. Ross Durant can clear. Firm but fair from Odusina in the eyes of the referee. Liddell. Oh, that was a little bit fortunate.
He's took a knock on the head, I think, for his troubles as Bennett in making that tackle on Molyneux. I think there was a bang to his head, but it was a good bit of defending because it was a terrific ball in behind his shoulder. just played around the corner by Holohan. He had to get there. As you see, he just clipped him on the head with his knee, did Molyneux, as he tried to run after the ball. The referee right to just check that he's okay.
Timmy Odesina. Here's Crawford, one of the 3 goal scorers for Hartlepool, along with Molyneux and Gray. All the goals coming before the halfway point in the first half. Maguire. Ross Durant. Odesina was beaten to it. Fair play to Alex Stroke, who's really been a good focal point for Ilkeston Town throughout, and even more so given that he's listed as being more of a midfielder.
And it's a difficult one where you go for those headers these days. You know, in years gone by, you went for those headers because you had another striker up alongside you were flicking onto. You're playing up on your own. It's very difficult to try and flick them on.
That's worked in well, and back doing his defensive work is Charlie Marzo, and it will be a Hartlepool corner. And again, they've gone for the short one, and they've caught them napping here. Molyneux couldn't quite wriggle it back to Nicky Featherstone. Now Brownhill. To no one in particular. Crawford. Holohan. Bloomfield. Ferguson. First time from Featherstone, who wanted the return. It's David Ferguson instead. That's a good ball, and Bloomfield has passed up another good chance.
He really doesn't have his shooting boots on this afternoon, but it's yet again really good play down this left-hand side by Hartlepool. Manoeuvring the ball. Featherstone, Gray, Ferguson getting up into wide positions and delivering a cross that is right on the money. Front post, 6 yards out. Can you finish it, striker? Unfortunately can't.
Played under Dave Challoner at Fylde on loan at the end of the 18-19 season, and then in May 2019 he joined the League Two side Crawley, scoring 4 goals in 23 games for them, including 3 of them in League Two, but has not had his shooting boots on so far this afternoon.
He hasn't, but his all-round game's been pretty good. He's, as I said, he's held the ball up quite well. He's around the channels well.
Here's Goodson, chance for Zach Goodson. Well defended by the substitute Odesina. After Goodson was played in by a lovely knock from James Reed. Here's Jack Thomas. Away from Odesina. Thomas needed dealing with, it's a corner.
That's good play by Thomas. Really has got these Ilkeston fans off their seats. Runs at Odesina, you think, has he done enough? Fortunate that Featherstone smelt the danger and came over and thwarted the run from Thomas, but it's a terrific play. Moments before we saw Goodson yet again in this wide position. Always wants to go back in onto his left foot though, which can sometimes mean the chance is gone.
That's a good delivery on the corner, and it's very well defended too. Lewis Cass was up there to help it behind.
Dealt with it well. Still the occasion when another ball's needed. It's gone over the stadium.
And the 2 centre-halves in conversation, Maguire and Fenton. They've Gone for the short one. Well, if that was the training ground routine they'd been practicing, it didn't quite come off there.
Oh, it's very frustrating that. You know, you've got your, as I said, you've got your fans off their seats, you've got the opposition on the back foot, you've just put a good delivery in which had them defensively, the opposition all over the place, heading it back over their own goal. And then moments later you try a short corner and don't get any delivery into the penalty area. So sometimes you've got to sense momentum, sometimes you've got to sense the way a game is ebbing and flowing while you're out there on the field, not always go with the plan that a manager gives you.
Durant slides to gather, so almost into the final half an hour, and Ilkeston Town needs something very soon if they're to have any chance of setting up some kind of grandstand finish.
Having said that, though, you know, we all saw the Tottenham Hotspur game against West Ham last weekend, where 3 goals in the final 10 minutes saw them get themselves back involved. So as long as there's time left on the clock, even 5 or 10 minutes, they'll believe, will this Ilkeston team?
Yep, that's what Kelly was saying at half-time, wasn't she? Featherstone, though, for Hartlepool United. Bloomfield with good strength. He has a go! Radar, again, not quite working, but as Leon was saying, his work to set up the chance was very impressive.
He's been a real threat, apart from when he's got right in front of the goal or had an effort on goal. And now if you're working with him, you'd be working a lot of your time on him actually finishing the ball, because as you say, the rest of his game today has been pretty impressive.
Out it goes then from Odesina. Just a reminder again that the draw for the first round of the FA Cup is live for you on the BBC on Monday, 7 o'clock on BBC 2, the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. Chance for Goodson, but always looked as though the flag was going to be raised against him there.
I think the assistant looks like he's got that one right. Came out very quickly with that Hartlepool team. Once they defended the ball, left him behind, always knew Goodson was offside. Did well to finish from that position. He's already naturally on his left foot. Didn't think about anything else.
Bloomfield, again creating good space for himself. Holohan has worked it on, and Holohan in there as well, and couldn't quite get on the end of it. Ferguson loses out. And the home fans still doing their part. Came off Odesina and brought back for the earlier challenge. Looks like a change then, second of the game for the away side. And Luke Molyneux, who has arguably been the standout performer so far, is withdrawn. And the number 17 is Josh McDonald, getting his first minutes in a Hartlepool shirt under his belt this afternoon.
As I said, an impressive game by Molyneux. Pleased with his afternoon's work, albeit a little bit quieter in this second half. His manager will be pleased with his efforts today.
That's a lovely knock, and good anticipation from Fenton, who talk about Molyneux being the standout performer in the game. I'd say Fenton's probably been the best player in a red and white shirt so far. His side trailing by 3-0, but it could have been a lot worse had it not been for some wonderful last-ditch defending. And you may not be able to hear it over the loudspeaker, but Ilkeston making regular announcements to try and reinforce the social distancing message for the 400 supporters that have been allowed into the new Manor Ground this afternoon. That's a clever touch from Crawford.
Good covering by this man, Reid. Felt like Crawford was going to be in behind Fenton and Maguire. Reid spotted the danger and came over and covered very effectively.
Need to get him higher up the pitch though, because he's someone that Martin Carruthers told me is very handy at striking a ball from distance. This is probably a bit too far out for him to have a go, but that's a pretty decent through ball. Odesina got there first and ensured that it went for a goal kick, and even he seemed to have a smile there at the fact he got some chip from some fans. I'm sure even as a player going up to opposition supporters, you probably miss that. I'm sure that you would have revelled in that, Leon, being given a bit of stick.
Because it happens so often. No, I did love that, and I love to see that, you know, when opposition fans can give opposition players a good bit of grief, and if been taken in the right way, a good bit of laughing and everybody enjoying it. Yeah,
all smiles there from Odesina, and certainly all smiles for Hartlepool United. 25 minutes away from a spot in the first round of this season's FA Cup. No foul there. A rather dismissive beckoning to get to your feet from Dave Richardson, the referee.
Yeah, I think he got that right, the referee. I think Troke's he's worked so hard. I think he's just tiring a little bit. Still up there, all by himself for the majority. Has to do an awful lot of work, hold the ball up. Just tried to get a foul for his team there that didn't work out.
Odesina, Featherstone, Crawford, and taken off him by Marzo, but it will be a throw. Wonder if he's thinking about making any alterations, Martin Carruthers. You can see there he wasn't happy with their marking from the throw. Bloomfield dispossessed by Fenton.
Did well, Fenton, but he just wasn't happy that they were able to throw the ball an awful long way into the feet of Bloomfield as the opposition striker. You should never allow such a cheap pass into the striker's feet. He's very frustrated with his team for allowing that.
A quarter of the 90 minutes remain then, and it's looking like a good job done by the National League side. Although they could make it even more comfortable. Bloomfield this time does find the net. He's had a number of opportunities, and Mason Bloomfield's rifled this one home, and that has surely wrapped up this FA Cup tie once and for all.
Yeah, you'd say so. I don't think you can argue that he deserves to be on the score sheet as well. It's McDonald with the pass into him, made a terrific run from in to out into that channel down that right-hand side. Terrific pass into him by Cass, I think it was. Released him down that channel. McDonald with his first real introduction of the game had the composure to pick out Bloomfield. Would have found it harder to miss than he would have to score, but he'll be really pleased to see that ball hit the back of the goal.
And McDonald, who has only just come on, was a key part of the Halifax side that won the FA Trophy in 2016. He is favoured as a right winger, and cutting in from that side provided that opportunity for Bloomfield, which he stuck away, and it could get worse here for Ilkeston. It's going to be a test of their character now that they know that the game is as good as up, and it might well get worse here. Ferguson. Holohan showed too much of it to Wilson. It's a weird situation in a way, Leon, because it's 4-0, but I wouldn't say Ilkeston Town have played that badly.
No, they've competed, they've tried to create chances themselves, but I don't think you can argue either that Hartlepool have had a real cutting edge to their game. They've moved the ball well, they've looked a real threat when they get inside that Ilkeston penalty area, so You know, they've certainly earned the goals. They've had more chances that they've missed and squandered. So I think Dave Shannon will be saying it should be more. I think the strange thing is that, you know, there's only one set of fans in this stadium and they're 4-0 down. And usually you hear the team that's up singing and enjoying themselves, and yet these Ilkeston fans certainly still seem to be enjoying the game.
And opened up there for the hit from Crawford, who does have one goal already, but nowhere near adding to that total there.
You know what time of year it is when floodlights start coming on for 3 o'clock kickoffs, don't you? You can feel it in the air, the way the weather's turned.
We'll have the chamois leather out on the lens before long as well. Looks like another substitute for Hartlepool about to be made. It's been almost the perfect game for Dave Shanley. Shuffled his pack, and players that have been brought in have done their job well. He can make some more changes with a place in the first round in the bag now. That's a free kick. And might be the opportunity for the change to be made. I wonder if Kelly Summers is somewhere within that BBC Sport tent.
Oh, there she is.
So another change for Hartlepool. So the 17-year-old Joe Gray is being replaced by David Parkhouse, Northern Ireland under-21 international, who is on loan from Sheffield United.
Again, John will be pleased with the performance of his player Gray this afternoon.
And Charlie Marzo is taken off in the first Ilkeston change of the piece.
I think it might be a change of system as well. Straight up alongside Trope. Looks like they may have changed to a 4-4-2. Credit to the manager, still trying to get back in this game.
Wilson. Deep one. Cleared only as far as Reed, who, as I mentioned, can hit them from distance. Reed could be in! James Reed! And down he goes! Well, from here, it did look like he was playing for that one. But for a minute, when the crowd rose as one, you wondered if Dave Richardson might have pointed to the spot.
You did wonder. Whether Decina will still have the same bit of banter with the crowd as he did on the previous occasion. I did feel he just about done enough. I think he got his foot to the ball. I think Reed's foot went in behind Udecina's. I think it was good defending.
Well, you cannot question their fight this afternoon. Have not stopped despite the scoreline and despite the rain as well.
They should be proud of themselves, Ilkeston. Not least the performance and the willingness to keep going, to keep trying to perform, to keep trying to get back in this game, but also the fact that, you know, they're playing at this stage of the competition.
Yeah, they were impressive in their route to this stage of the FA Cup. They've come up against a side who were top of the National League until last weekend and will return top if they win their game in hand. So it was always going to be a big ask. Hartlepool United still looking for more goals.
Yeah, they've been maintaining this level of performance throughout the season. You'd expect them to be back in the Football League sooner rather than later. Still trying to figure out how to get back into this game.
Featherstone, they wanted handball.
Should have had it as well.
That was that's one thing I miss, is hearing some of the wisecracks from the sidelines. They thought it was handball against Featherstone, who's gone to collect it here, and someone shouted out from the sidelines, "Why don't you try and catch it next time?"
I always enjoyed those moments when you hear those.
A sharp bit of
funny
humour.
cries, yeah. There's one thing getting slated from the side, you know, that's always one to forget, but those sharp bits of humour are always fantastic.
Little. Now then, almost for Mason Lee, who is the player who came on for Charlie Marzo. Featherstone, who really has run things very well, 32 years of age, but has been a real engine room for Hartlepool this afternoon, and has been a mainstay since Dave Challoner took over at the club. Started every match since Challoner was installed. And it's unlikely to change anytime soon. 6 years now he's been at the club, Featherstone, the club's longest serving player. Thomas. Joe Wilson, time to pick a pass. Wasn't a bad ball. And away for a throw, which Wilson will take.
That was a good area. Full stretch defended to make sure it didn't get in that danger area.
Now then, on the run is Thomas. And they're asking for the corner, but they don't get it.
Goalkeeper was sharp there. Ravas saw that the defender was out of position, came over and tried to start another counter-attack, and you can see that throughout the whole of their side. They're quick on the counter-attack, all aware that it's something and a good avenue for them to get forward, the pace and the power that they have within their side.
Who would you say has caught your eye out of the Ilkeston Town side?
I think out of Ilkeston, I think you have to say Goodson's been heavily involved. He's been a big threat. I think, as you said, Reid looks cultured. Thomas has grown into the game as he's drifted out onto this right-hand side. In the second half, especially here, he is in possession again. Fenton made some terrific tackles that kept his side in the game. So there have been a number of good performances.
Here's Reid. I wonder if he's going to have a crack. No, lays it off for Goodson. Goodson's ball in, evaded the near post, and Odesina. That's a good challenge. Joe Wilson. Reid. Brownhill. Mason Lee. It's going to break here for Goodson, but he is offside.
I think they've had a good game today, the officials, as a unit. Tried to let the game flow as and when they could. Made big decisions correct. Credit where credit's due.
Billy Bennett, one of those to make way. And Ollie Brownhill, the other to depart. Goodson. Overlap comes from Wilson. Joe Wilson. And again, urged to hit it, Thomas, and does! Fisted clear by Ravas.
Whether it be the fact that fans are allowed back in the stadium or it's Ilkeston week in, week out, it's great to see that this game is still competitive at 4-0 going into the 80th minute. They really are still going in search of this goal, forcing Hartlepool backward, making Hartlepool play the game out, not letting them have a comfortable last 15 minutes in this 4-0 scoreline. It's making it still very easy on the eye to watch.
Reese Bertram was one of those to come on, along with Al-Yil Dill. Here's Mason Lee, who's happy to let it go out for the corner.
Real stature in that penalty area now, the introduction of the substitutes.
In it goes. And away, half away by Odesina. They're asking for a free kick in there. Not going to get one. Now then, chance to wrap it up with another goal. That makes it 5. A 5-star performance from Hartlepool, who really are making a bit of a statement this afternoon, not just with the scoreline, but with the manner of their goals.
So clinical at times with the counter-attacking. See yet again, winning the ball back on their halfway line. It's a terrific run by McDonald. Rides 3 or 4 challenges en route to releasing Parkhouse onto his left foot. It's just a touch, it's a finish, it's far post across the goalkeeper. In off the far post. Found themselves exposed. 3v1 defensively, Ilkeston. Parkhouse punished them.
Well, the man who is on loan from Sheffield United, joined last month through till January, Northern Ireland under-21 international, and it didn't take long for him to make his presence felt. It was a bit of a toss-up between him and Bloomfield for a starting spot this afternoon, and perhaps just making a bit of a point to his manager there with that finish. Even the most hardy of Hartlepool fans probably wouldn't begrudge Ilkeston a consolation. Well, aside from the players and manager, I'm sure
Dave Challoner wouldn't be best pleased with his team not seeing this all the way through to keeping a clean sheet. Having said that, I think this Ilkeston Town crowd would celebrate a goal if it was the winner.
Here is Goodson. Oh, not sure if he was going for goal there, but Jack Thomas did bring a gather, at least.
I certainly don't think he was trying to have an Everton goal. I think he just miscued the cross. It was a difficult one to take by Rabas, really did have to keep his eye on it.
Well, those 400 fans have seen plenty of goals, just unfortunately from their point of view, all at the wrong end. Bloomfield with strength. Fenton. Wilson. And that was a nice piece of skill. And had a couple of nibbles at Jack Thomas before they eventually got him.
He did. A competitive Thomas, showed good quality in possession going forward. Doesn't like to lose a challenge.
Thomas. Is that a foul? It is. Now, I wonder if someone's going to chance their arm for a shot at glory here.
They're practicing set pieces, I've heard.
I don't think it's done them too much good, so someone might just decide to have an absolute lamp at this.
Yeah, why not? Good quality if you've got the power. The crowd is still desperate to see a goal.
Still making a right bracket too.
Will it be the power of Maguire or the cultured left foot of Reid?
Well, I'm told that James Reid has a wand of a left foot, but Maguire is there. Joe Maguire! Well hit! But now the flag goes up against Bertram. Well, got his boot through that one.
He did, and when you're hitting a free kick from distance, what you're asking is to hit the target. He's also bounced it just in front of the goalkeeper on a slick turf. Goalkeeper took no chances, palmed it out of the danger area, and Ilkeston players had gotten into offside positions, but good hit, good save, good play.
This will be chased down by Bertram. And Ilkeston Town still chasing, still looking for something to give their 400 supporters this afternoon something to take home with them. It's a handy pass from Wilson. James Reid. Not quite from Jack Thomas. Holohan. Well, home fans always like a shank over the stand.
I'm sure they'd have enjoyed it more in the first minute than the last. That man's learnt a lot today. Yes, his team on the wrong end of a 5-0 scoreline, but there's a steep learning curve. You see the quality of teams in higher divisions, what you're trying to achieve, where you're trying to get your team to long term. So we'll have a clear idea of that. That man will just generally be pleased. He's right near the top in the National League. It's his aim to get the club back into league football. His team have been impressive today.
Yeah, he wanted to continue the momentum that they've built up in the National League. 3 wins and a draw so far, and a 5-0 win away from home, no matter who the opposition are, will certainly help keep that momentum ticking over. Bloomfield's won that.
It seems he's got real competition for places as well. You mentioned that he's made a couple of changes again, hoping that they come in and perform. As I say, when you do that and the level doesn't drop when you make changes, then you're showing you've got a real squad that's up for a challenge over the course of a whole season, and that's how you achieve things long term.
Yeah, 5 in all from the game against Bromley, and Hasn't shown, has it? And they might add another here, they have! What a wonderful strike from Holohan. Ilkeston hit for 6. And Hartlepool have hammered them.
Yeah, it's a terrific goal. He's running with his head up, which is the most impressive thing. He's looking, can he pass? Can he find someone to release with a through ball? He finds himself, once he's beaten Maguire, finds himself in a lovely position, decides to take the shot on himself. When you find the top corner, take your hat off.
He started the season in very good form, the Irishman. He actually scored in the 4-0 win at Maidenhead United 2 weeks ago. That is a cracker. 8 goals last season from midfield, and already popping up with a couple this term.
Hartlepool have been impressive. Said that all afternoon long, but it's a bit harsh on Ilkeston to be losing by a margin of 6 goals. They've really competed today after a slow start to the game. Created chances, hit the woodwork on numerous occasions. Haven't quite had their shooting boots on themselves. But as I said, the manager and the owner will be looking at this, realising the challenge ahead of them if they want to keep improving as they have done. It could be long-term a really positive afternoon.
Into stoppage time then. Ferguson. Odesina. Little. And that is that. The biggest game in Ilkeston Town's short history in their current incarnation ends in defeat to Hartlepool United, who were on it from the word go and have hit 6 to make it through to round 1 of this season's FA Cup. Ilkeston Town 0, Hartlepool United 6. And Leon Osman, the visitors really just started like a train and never really let up.
They were very competitive, they were quality in what they had to do, the way they went about the challenge. They knew they were favourites going into the game, and they knew they had to do that in a good way. They had to be professional, as we say, that you get the job done, you don't give lower league opposition a chance. And a very, very good 6-0 win in the end.
Looking at it from an Ilkeston Town perspective, it was just a case of the fact that the players conceded so early on, and it was always going to be a tough ask for them from that.
Yeah, it was. It was when you're the lower league opposition and you're trying to necessarily a giant kill, but beat higher league opposition, you usually have to start the game well. You have to be competitive. You have to have a little bit of luck at times. And you know, the game got off to a disastrous start, but the manager would be pleased with the application of his players. They didn't give up even at 5 and 6-0 down. You'd think it was 0-0. They were so competitive, and the fans really appreciated that. And he'll be trying to make that a running theme of his team over the course of the season.
What do you think the message will be there from Martin Carruthers as he has a huddle with the players?
I think it'll be to go and give the fans a clap, certainly, as we're seeing now. So it's enjoyable to be back, and the fans were really positive in their support today. They never got onto the back of the team. They were all delighted to be in the stadium, which is terrific. Knew they were playing against higher league opposition. Then he'll be positive moving forward. Yes, they didn't score a goal. Yes, they got beat by 6, but they created chances. They hit the woodwork on numerous occasions. They were very much in this game at times. They just lacked the quality that Hartlepool had, at the cutting edge that Hartlepool had at both ends of the field. And that's what his team will aspire to get to. That's where he'll be trying to take this team over the course of the next 2 or 3 seasons. But all of the things are in place for that to happen. So the club's in a good position at the moment.
And how good is it to see this? Players able to go and applaud supporters, and supporters giving their players a send-off as well.
That's very good. It's enjoyable. It's part of what we love about football. You know, the player and fan interaction. Yes, we all want to see football, but we want to go to the football as much as anything. We want to be in stadiums. We want to be a part of what's happening. We want to feel the atmosphere of a game in the stadium as much as possible. So they will have appreciated that they were allowed in today to be a part of this. The fans, the players will have appreciated that back. They'll just be disappointed that it was a 6-0 scoreline against them that they ended up showing to the fans.
Well, Hartlepool, the big hitters in this game, but excuse me, they'll be potentially one of the underdogs when they are drawn out of the hat in the draw for the first round of the FA Cup, which takes place on Monday. And a reminder that you can see that on the BBC. It's available on BBC Two, the iPlayer, and the BBC Sport website from 7 o'clock on Monday, the 26th of October. Those first round ties will be played across the weekend of Saturday, the 7th of November, and 32 non-league sides, having progressed through qualifying, will join all clubs from League One and League Two in that draw on Monday. 48 teams from League One and League Two entering the FA Cup at the first round stage. And of course there'll be more live FA Cup football for you on the BBC all the way through to the final. We've been showing FA Cup qualifiers since 2017 to give you a taste of the FA Cup from the very first kick in the extra preliminary round all the way through to the big day at Wembley. And well, they have enjoyed themselves from the looks of it, despite the weather and the result. Well, we're hoping to get some reaction from the Hartlepool camp, but in the meantime, before we hear from Dave Challoner, a quick look at what else is coming up this weekend across BBC Sport. From 6:20 this evening, there's Women's Six Nations action. It's Ireland against Italy on the red button, and a lowdown of all of the big Premier League games today. Match of the day, 10:20 BBC One. The NFL show follows that at 11:25, and then tomorrow we have the Women's Six Nations between Scotland and France. That one is on the red button for you from 2:10. And then it's back to football on Tuesday, 4:15, for coverage of Women's Euro 2021 qualifying. Wales up against Norway. That one is available on the red button for Wales against Norway. Match of the day tonight may feature Harry Maguire, and his brother Joe Maguire has seen his side slump to a 6-0 defeat to Hartlepool United here at the new Manor Ground this afternoon. A job well done for the away side, Hartlepool United, who have progressed with flying colours from this one. And Leon, I know that me and you are both back on Premier League duty tomorrow, but it is always nice to get involved in the FA Cup at this stage of the competition.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, you know, it's a great place to start watching the FA Cup. You know how famous this competition is. You know it's long-standing thinking in the world, never mind the UK and England. So it's a great competition to see from the very beginning, and you know, to have done a few commentating jobs this season. I've watched Squires Gate versus Main Road. I've watched the Battle of the Bridges, Staley versus Stocks. So it's been really enjoyable. And next we get on to the first round proper.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us today. That's it for our early rounds coverage here on the BBC iPlayer and the red button. But of course, it's just the start of the FA Cup action on the BBC, with the FA Cup first round draw taking place on BBC Two at 7 o'clock. And of course, switching to the Women's FA Cup, we have the final for you. Everton against Manchester City. That's coming up on Sunday, the 1st of November. Join us at 2:30 on BBC One for that one.